going to leave this. This will be the fourth tape. If anybody's interested, I went to the social media trying to get something done because the law doesn't work for me. It works against me. That's Larry Flynn. I was flown out there during the campaign. I wrote about mind control murders back when he was shot, and I was flown out to his place. And he furnished me a car for a year because I'd been stripped of everything. I'd even had antifreeze put in me because I did the book. I thought it was later in '83 that I found out that I'd been kidnapped from Buckingham Palace, and history has really been changed, and I was brought to Moulton, Alabama. Here, and given the name of a twin, and this was one of the twins, Carl, and that's a death certificate there. This is Peggy, the name that I had to use. This is where I was trying to get something done about the twins were murdered by their mother. So she never paid for it. They put me there. I found out in '83, and this woman was hideous. I mean, that family tortured me all my life. But, and I'm going to show that now. This is my Uncle George that helped kidnap me, Elizabeth's father. He's illegal. This is my dad, Edward VIII, who people think married Wallace Simpson. She married a double. This whole thing was an illegal takedown of my father, and Elizabeth's illegal. And I'm over here 2 years old when they brought me over here. This is a photo I just got. I haven't had any of these growing up in Moulton, Alabama, on that pigsty farm. This is me, and this is a family. That's me. And this is spring of '43. Now, I was about 2 years old, the best I can, when I was brought over here. And it was about the spring because I had short sleeves on. And I do remember that because they brought in the people that brought me there, the two men, they had a camera there somehow and took a picture of handing me to Lina Dempsey, the woman who killed her twins. And I grew up being called a bastard because they were born out of wedlock, and having to use her name and call this cold-blooded psychopath, and yes, she was diagnosed a psychopath, Mom. I hated her guts. She was so mean. And I thought growing up is, please, God, don't let me be anything like this family. But anyway, this was I had to have been how old here? I remember running away from them. They didn't have cars. They were gussied up, dressed up for a reason. Specifically, you had to go out and get a camera, and I remember it was on stilts, and they came in the cars that are parked there, and you don't see the shack and the hell that I grew up in, and this man, who I had to call Grandpa, that's me right there, and that's her, the wife, the grandmother, not mine. I tried to run away, and they caught me and brought me back, and for the photo, and I kept trying to say, I don't belong in this family. So here is, this is my sons, Mark and Scott. I'm Victoria II, heir to the British Crown, so I'm held hostage. That's exactly who I am, being tortured. And they talk about taking down the interview with a North Korean. And what do you think they did to my father and me? And my kids. But I want to get back to this, if anybody wants to go back. And the last tape, I wrote about mind control murders that were deliberately done in patterns. Remember, I said I had a FBI letter, ongoing investigation, national security involved, and this was after Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I'm trying to get the book published, and got a letter from the FBI, and I thought it was because of the book. It was later in '83 I found out it was because of my kidnapping and who I am. But they've used my illness, which is I'm allergic to chemicals, and I've been force-fed toxic because they, when I'm able to get money, I'm kept penniless just about and can't buy clothes or proper food, but they come in, or it's ahead of me, really. I was told by Carl Smith after the antifreeze was put in me. I lived at Warren House in Huntsville Apartments and worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson. And he was sent there to Warren House. He lived on the bottom floor. It was 2 floors. And he told me he was sent there 5 years ahead, and I think that's when the apartments were built. And he had lived by me in Normandy Apartments in off Highway 41, in Marietta. So I could go on and on about that, but that's back trying to tell you that my footsteps were laid out, and I have nothing to do with it. I can't do anything. I try to leave. I can't. I'm brought back because law is involved in it. But here in the only way to get away, my immune system attacks itself, and over the years it tears down your kidneys and your lungs, everything, my veins. But this is where I'd stayed, Lance Cooperman, and they've all gotten really wealthy here in Roanoke, where I've really had to stay. And I had someone up at Hollins, a Patel, tell me, this is a guy that did maintenance, and he was kin to a sheriff's deputy here. So you see what I'm doing. I'm trying to live and tell what's been done to me, and they all want me dead for telling the truth. Back to the people that, the Dempseys here. Remember where I was brought? Everybody wants me dead. But anyway, I get confused trying to tell it, and I can't do another tape here. This is enough. Anyway, it's destroyed my body and my life and everything, and I can't find my children. I don't know where they are, if they're alive. But this is where, specifically, I went in here and I'd stayed, and the same thing had happened to me. And people don't want to hear the background on what I'm responding to, although everybody around here knows anyway. But her name's Debbie McKay, and back to me doing the mind control, the book, and telling about mind control and the murders that are done in patterns, which Larry Flint was shot, and then the Gabby Gifford and her husband, that's Tucson, Arizona. I'm using that one because they were done in patterns using names and dates and places, and you need it's synchronicity. But this is Mark and Scott, and they're heirs after me, and I realize this is not good photo, and I'm having to suck up poison fumes, so I'm not feeling good. I ran for Congress, but I didn't get it. Gabby Gifford was a congresswoman. This is her husband, a twin, Mark Kelly, astronaut. Scott Kelly is the other twin. That's the names of my sons I've used. But you get into the people there in Tucson that were come together. If you knew the patterns, it's just like Aurora, Colorado, and James Home. It's frightening to know how far-reaching they have, almost like they can genetically engineer now. Weird. But this, back to her, and them using chemicals on me. This woman, Debbie, was the new manager. And what she did when I went in there, Alexis Murphy was kidnapped, and they haven't found her body, but they've charged a man, and he's in prison for her murder. Taylor, I've forgotten his first name. But anyway, this is part of just some of them that can be proven. Alexis Murphy, by the way, her body, not her body, but her car was parked in front of the Carmike Theater, I believe in Charlottesville or Lynchburg, right next door here. And you got, these are pieces you need more to the puzzle, but like James Home in the Grand Theater. So anyway, this, when I went in and paid her the rent, you have to know what had been done to me then to make me go there. She put the monitor around after she took my money, and she said, "This is my daughter, Alexis," just like Alexis Murphy. And she said, I can't remember now her exact words. She says, "It's a prom, and I'm not going to let her die." And then she started saying, "I'm sorry," like that to me on different occasions. Of course, if I try to tell it to anybody, she can say, "Well, I was just telling her I was sorry for, make something up." She was talking about that she had been